One of the things I am aware of with my match today is the goal percentage of first serves, which requires a great deal of concentration. Alex Eala wasn't on a tennis court 2 days prior to one of the most significant matches of her career. Wearing a frock that her uncle had created and transported from Manila in less than a day, she stood on a red carpet in Madrid, surrounded by Simone Biles, Novak Djokovic, and the gymnastics woman who created the perfect 10. 20 years old, radiant, totally relaxed in a room full with the world's best athletes. The player who once defeated her in a set in about 24 minutes was waiting for her someplace in the same city on the red clay of the Chaya Magica. This story is really about that disparity, that unthinkable clash of universes. Because when Alex Eala walks out onto that clay on April 24th, it's more than just a tennis match. It's the culmination of a journey that began with a 6-0 bagel, endured a physically taxing practice session with Rafael Nadal, and now finds herself at a crossroads where her ranking, Roland Garros seeding, and entire play season depend on a single outcome against the player who is currently operating at one of the most dangerous peaks of her career. Let's go back to 2023 to understand where this started. Alex Eala, who is rated 200th in the world, takes the court against Elise in the Jasmine Open. In fact, the first set is competitive. Eala gets into fights. In the 12th game, she saves match points. At one point, it's clear that she belongs. The second set then takes place. 24 minutes, 6-0. 9 out of 32 serve points won. It was a merciless lecture rather than a competition. The player who carries that result into the rematch is what can change, and what has changed in ways that are genuinely difficult to fully quantify. The Alex Eala who walks onto the Chaya Magica clay on April 24th is not the same person who walks off that in Monastir. Think about what has happened between those two moments. She defeated Madison Keys when Keys was ranked number 5, and she entered Miami in 2025 and defeated Iga Swiatek twice in the same tournament. Swiatek, the world's number 2, she defeated Coco Gauff at number 4 and Jasmine Paolini at number 8 in Roland Garros 4 times, giving her 8 victories over the top 10 professional tennis players, more than many players amass over the course of their careers. Since being eliminated in 24 minutes, Mertens has defeated some of the world's top players. Therefore, it is incorrect to inquire if Eala has a genuine chance in this situation. What particular Eala appears, and how does Mertens respond to it, is the appropriate inquiry. This is the current identity of Elise Mertens. Because the difference between numbers 44 and 21 actually doesn't give the whole story. In January, Mertens won the doubles championship at the Australian Open. In doubles, she currently holds the top spot in the world. With a 12-7 singles record in 2026 and a clay court win rate of nearly 63% built on accuracy and a return game that is specifically designed to punish hesitation, she arrived in Madrid as the 19th seed already with a bye in the first round. She is not in decline. Just days ago, she defeated a top 10 player 6-1 2-0 in Stuttgart. She is dangerous in a very specific calculated way, and her history with Eala is not neutral. The problem is that after Mertens established a commanding lead over Karolina Muchova won 12 of the following 13 games to win the game. When the momentum changes, Mertens has a vulnerability. In 2023, Eala won 52% of her first serve points against Mertens, which was the main issue. The question is whether Eala can create that shift and, more crucially, whether she can maintain it before Mertens does what she did in Monastir and just takes the match apart. In the weeks leading up to the start of the 2026 season, Eala traveled to Mallorca to practice with Rafael Nadal at his academy, which completely changed the conversation. Mertens built her return game on precisely the kind of hesitation and second-serve vulnerability that produced those statistics in Monastir. Without any pretense, she recounted how that event felt. She mentioned how exhausted she was after practice, how Rafa's intensity never wanes, and how it meant the world to her to see it personally. When someone specifically asked her about clay, which is Nadal's surface and the surface she is currently attempting to conquer, she replied that she would take anything she could learn from him with pride. That session was exhausting. Then, on April 22nd, 2 days prior to the Mertens match, Eala took the court in Madrid's first round and won 76% of her first serve points against Anastasia Petlukankova. She saved 5 of 6 break points and broke twice in each set. That 76% figure is not only a good figure, but it is the direct response to the question that coaches and commentators had been asking about her game for years. The potential weapon had always been the serve. It was operating like one now. 2 days, pictures with the world's best athletes, a red carpet at the Palacio de Cibeles, and 48,000 Instagram likes on one post. Her uncle Red Ayala designed and transported a Filipiniana dress from Manila in less than 48 hours. GMA News covered the dress story. The bridge between those two moments is the entire story. It is not a coincidence. It is a portrait. ABS-CBN posted a video of her celebrating with the Madrid crowd afterward and then returning to the clay serving at 76%, defeating a professional tennis player cleanly and efficiently, and speaking to the crowd in Spanish. Valoria's committee doesn't invite players who don't belong in the room. The tennis social team asked whether viewers could recall a women's player who receives this kind of support wherever she goes. The Philippine diaspora was keeping track of every shot, post, and press quote, and within 24 hours of her first-round victory, 6 major Philippine outlets published dedicated coverage. This is where the story demands honesty because one of the things that makes this player worth watching is that her team doesn't pretend the difficulties. Alexandra Ayala was defeated 1-2-6, 4-2-6 by Leylah Fernandez in Stuttgart 8 days before to that first-round victory in Madrid. In the first set, she was trailing 0-5. Throughout the entire game, she only managed to win 42% of the points. It was her first encounter with a fellow left-hander on clay, and the tactical conundrum it presented revealed genuine unanswer. This problem is reported and real as well. This contest is more urgent than it might seem because of a mathematical reality that sits beneath it all. Eala received about 35 ranking points and advanced to the second round of Madrid 2025. As this match draws near, those points are currently being deducted from her total in real time. In 2026, a second-round loss earns 30 points. It indicates that she loses 5 before Rome is even reached by the clay swing. 50 points and a net gain of 15 are awarded for a round of 32 finish, which necessitates defeating Mertens. Right now, she is seated at number 44. On March 16th, she hit her career high of number 29. She must be around number 32, the route from 44 to 32 runs, in order to be seated at Roland Garros. Right via Elise Mertens on April 24th. This isn't a metaphor, it's the real math of her season. She's already signed up for the Parma Ladies and the Rome Open in May. Open on clay, this is a planned, intentional clay campaign built around Joan Bosch and clay specialist Sandro Veni Madrid. It is not a standalone event. Rather, it is the first chapter of a French Open seeding push. If Eala defeats Mertens, the draw may open up toward Ekaterina Alexandrova or former world number 1 Karolina Pliskova in the next round. If she loses, she arrives in Rome already behind the pace she needs. And then there is Swiatek, who faced Eala on this exact clay in the 2023 scoreline. After recovering, Swiatek emerged victorious. 6-4 minus. 4-6-2-2 6 minus. But what's worth clinging to is what Swiatek stated afterwards. She acknowledged the excitement surrounding young athletes, but she emphasized the importance of maintaining self-focus. Take a close look at that. She didn't mention Ayla's good fortune. The first set was not referred to as an abnormality by her. After using the word hype, she quickly disproved it by acknowledging that she needed to control her own attention. That qualifying is not given by a player who defeats someone they honestly think is just hype. In the exact, controlled terminology of a champion, Swiatek was admitting that the threat was significant enough to demand mental effort. That encounter took place on the same clay as Ayla's current matchup with Mertens, who has never faced a 3-set match in contrast to Swiatek. In contrast to this version of Alexandra Eala, that is the one who trained under Nadal's intensity, the one who served at 76%, the one who entered a room with Djokovic and Biles and did not back down, the one who stood in front of the Madrid crowd 2 days ago and spoke to them in Spanish after winning, and the one who captioned a photo in her country's formal dress with quiet gratitude and received 48,000 likes. Not because of fake attention, but rather because of something genuine that people feel when they watch her. After the Pavlu-Kankova match, Eala herself made a statement that stuck. She lacked confidence in her performance. She claimed to have had both excellent matches and difficulties on clay in the past. Additionally, she was thrilled about the next tournaments. That person isn't trying to avoid hardship. That is a person who trained under Rafa Nadal until she was worn out and then made the decision to face the most difficult part of the season. Waves can be produced by a single drop of water. That's what she said. The Chaya Magica clay will reveal on April 24th whether or not that drop has found the appropriate surface at the appropriate time. Now pull all the way back to view the complete image. A 20-year-old, ranked 200th in the world, lost 1-6 in Stuttgart just 8 days before stepping onto the same clay in Madrid and serving at 76%, defeated 4 top 10 players, and won just 9 of 32 second serve points in a match that lasted barely longer than a TV episode. Over the course of 2 seasons, she attended the most prominent sports award ceremony in Europe while donning her nation's traditional attire, while the rankings were still attempting to catch up to what she was actually doing. Standing comfortably in a room full of the best athletes, it was designed in Manila and sent all over the world in 2 days. Swiatek required 3 sets on this particular surface to defeat the world's most successful professional clay court player, who emerged from the red carpet the following morning. The opponent is now ranked number 1 in the world for doubles, and according to the ranking math, she needs to win this match in order to remain motionless before Roland Garros. The player who made the second set in Monastir vanished so quickly that it seemed to have never happened, a 6-time Grand Slam champion. Alex Eala has things that weren't there in 2023 when she approaches Elise Mertens on the Chaya Magica clay. 4 victories over the top 10 players? In Mallorca, a serve was reconstructed under the watchful eye of the best clay court player in history. In every room she enters, whether it is full with Olympic champions or the opponent who previously made her look like she didn't belong on a tennis court at all, she feels like she belongs because to an outfit her uncle sewed in 2 days. The architecture of the person wielding the racket is the real shock, not any particular score. Whether she can solve Mertens' return game before Mertens solves the lefty serve is still unknown. Can she make it to the round of 32 and start climbing from 44 to the threshold of Roland Garros? Was the defeat in Stuttgart a warning or a diversion? The game takes place on April 24th. The outcome will indicate whether the entirety of this movie is the prologue or the beginning of the main chapter. Leave a comment with your prediction. Can Eala advance to Madrid's round of 16? And if you wish to be present when the chapter opens or closes in Rome, Parma, or Paris, as well as when the Chaya Magica renders its decision. That complete arc resides in this channel, because the story that follows is one that only becomes richer with each match. She never stops playing.